All right, so I am a huge believer in parts cars. If you can buy a parts car to what you already own, you will save yourself a fortune. I mean, even if you have to give 500-600 bucks for a parts car that may not run or whatever, when you start figuring out going out and buying glass, buying doors, buying fenders, bumpers, bumper covers, engine parts, transmission parts, interior parts, parts that are obsolete, they don't make anymore, it makes so much more sense to buy a parts car. Now, when you buy a car to drive, make sure it's not a parts car. Case in exam. Oh, God, I completely messed that up. Case in hand. There we go. Old Camaros and Trans Ams and stuff like that, man, they're awesome. They look good. They're nostalgic. You got Knight Rider, which love Knight Rider. Knight Rider is completely awesome. Uh, but you have to be thorough when you buy one. They are notorious for rusting floorboards, T-tops, sunroofs, window channels, etc. I mean, they are. So you have to be thorough when you buy one. Now, I've got a Trans Am over here and a Camaro. Kid that owns them bought the Trans Am. Don't get me wrong, from outer appearances and stuff, it looked good. Not a bad looking car. But once you get into it, not too good. I ended up buying a Camaro, which thankfully it was pretty much gutted. The interior was gone, so you could see the floors, you could see the channel, you could see everything, and it was a solid car. So let's get into this. So here's a Trans Am. As you see, I've already got the front off. I'm gonna be doing an engine swap. There is the front, which I'll be selling all these parts here soon, because all these are good parts. I love this Trans Am. I really do. This body. But you get into this thing, and let's just start up top here. Let's go along these T-top lines, and can you see it? Look at that. Look at that. I mean, there are holes in this. And without taking the T-tops off, this track through here, all this center is all rotted out and stuff. Now, get inside. Now, mind you, it's a mess. I've gutted the interior out of it and all that for parts for the Camaro, which I'll get to. But there's pretty much nothing left of this floor. The back seat, which you can't really see it, but the back seat floorboard, they are just as bad. They got holes through them. So this passenger side, let me get this open. Move the dash. But look at that. The floor is actually pushed up. It's all out of shape. That's where the seat mounts. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And the back seat area, I got crap everywhere. There's holes up in the front and stuff. You can see clear through. So I guess what I'm getting at, I'm trying to move stuff around, is when you go to look at one of these cars, I'm gonna have to sit y'all down. When you're going to buy a car like this, be thorough. Extremely thorough. Get underneath it. If you can't get under it, bring a jack so you can jack it up and get underneath it and check everything. Because something like this is not structurally sound. If he had the T-tops off on a summer's day, was out cruising around and got in a front end collision or somebody hit him in the rear, this car would fold. That's insta-death. Now, let me come over here to the Camaro. You see I got parts everywhere. The Camaro had some interior parts in it, but it was missing the vast majority. Putting everything together, putting all the interior in here. Now this was a solid car. It's got issues. Something's draining the battery, which I got to pull the dash out of this and find out what's going on there. The interior out of the Trans Am is actually pretty good, and it was black, so that's what's going in here to finish this off. All the channels are good. It's got new rubbers on the T-tops and stuff, and you can always pull these rubbers back and look. Now this had a decent paint job, I will give it that. It's not a bad looking car at all. But the boy that owns it, he ended up having to pretty much buy a Camaro to replace the Trans Am because the Trans Am was not safe. And the Trans Am had its fair share of issues. But he did find the Camaro, which is structurally sound. Of course, it needs some interior, needs a little work or whatever, which I'm doing all the swap out on. And he's going to have a fantastic car. But luckily, thankfully, like I said, the interior was missing. There was no carpets in it, nothing like that. So he was able to look at it, go through it, and make sure it was structurally sound. So he wasn't in the same position he was already in. So when you're out and you're car shopping and you're looking, you know, especially these old Trans Ams and Camaros like this and stuff, be thorough. It's your life on the line. And it could end up being a lot of money if you wanted to rebuild it.